Hey again, everybody. Welcome to TV 15. Bill Huddleston along with head coach Rafe Watkins. And coach, it seems like an eternity since the Ruffers last played. It was a big win, but now you've had a week off, and perhaps at no better time because of heading into the playing for. We got to start this over with. I just totally lost my train of thought. Good Lord. All right. Take two. In 3, 2, 1. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to TV 15, Muskogee Ruffer Football. I'm Bill Huddleston along with head coach Rafe Watkins. Coach, a big win the last time the Ruffers went on the field and a week off. The two things combined for a perfect combination heading into this week's game with Sapulpa.
Well, it was. It was good that we got the huge win against Sand Springs first and foremost, but then we went into fall break and we were able to give the kids off Thursday and Friday, which is a rarity ever during the season, but it just happened to fall on the fall break. And so we have a lot of bumps and nicks and injuries that we'd had, and we come out of that. We had a good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice. Gave the kids off until Sunday afternoon. We went up there at 3 o'clock and had a little abbreviated, about an hour and a half practice. That way it didn't mess up too much family time and no time with the church activities. And so had a good one, had a good practice yesterday. And so I think it was refreshing for them. And we have got back a couple of injuries. Clifford will be back now off of his concussion protocol. And so it was good to get him back.
Well, certainly the Ruffers with that extra time to kind of heal up and take a deep breath. Now I can kind of see a truer playoff picture beginning to unfold. Let's take a quick look at the standings in our current district race involving the Ruffers. And you can see at the top, Coach, it's Booker T, Bixby, then it's Muskogee, followed by Sand Springs with Bartlesville, Sapulpa, and Ponca City. But the two giants are going to play this week.
Right. The first and second, for all intents and purposes, will be taken care of this week. With Booker T and Bixby playing, and then Sand Springs plays Bartlesville, we play Sapulpa. All we really, as we'd said before, we played Sand Springs. The key for us is it was going to have to take some weird things to transpire for us to be able to host at Indian Bowl. But good news is we got Sand Springs. We'll get our third seed if we take care of business. We've got to win one of the next 2 weeks. I'm not looking at that. I want to win both weeks. Obviously. And Sapulpa will give us, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the program, but Sapulpa will be all that we want. I know the record doesn't show it. They played some tough competition early on in their non-district schedule. They played all the big ones up there already, so they've got some kids that can make some things happen that certainly has our attention.
We'll talk a little bit more about Sapulpa, the upcoming opponent, later on in our show. But before we take our break, let's go to the other side of the state and talk about the, I don't want to say hornet's nest, but the convoluted mess that's going on over in District 1 of 6A football. Coach, if we look at those standings right now, Midwest City still the only unbeaten team. You've got Lawton, Stillwater at 4-1, Putnam City at 3-2. Those four teams are kind of settling out at the top two, but you can't take your eye out the prize with Deer Creek or Choctaw because they're just capable of pulling off an upset.
Right.
And a pretty good matchup this week between Stillwater and Putnam City to kind of separate the wheat and chaff.
And last year this was even more of a mess because they'd all kind of beat each other. It was weird because Lawton got beat by Choctaw and Midwest City got beat by Putnam City, and they had different scenarios last year. Midwest City pretty much has separated themselves. They have a big game next week with Stillwater, which could throw a monkey wrench in there. Lawton is through with all the tough teams. They're sitting there. They're going to end up only having the one loss against Midwest City. Stillwater's the team that's interesting right now because they have to play Putnam City this week, which for most intents and purposes, you look at that's probably 3-4 matchup if you go with what's been going on and transpiring. But don't count Stillwater out of next week of possibly upsetting Midwest City, which again could send that thing into a tailspin. So, but really, Midwest City, we've seen, we know how good they are. They should end up right there. Lawton will probably end up there, and then again, the winner between Stillwater and Putnam City this week will be 3, and the loser will be 4.
So all the things beginning to kind of clear up a little bit in the district races, and certainly this week's action will have a lot of bearing on that. When we come back, though, each and every week we give you a chance to meet one of the Ruffers, and our guest will be a young man who's been having to stand on the sideline and patiently watch. We'll find out what got him back into this week's game. That after this timeout, you're watching TV 15 Muskogee Ruffer Football. Back on TV 15, Bill Huddleston along with the head coach of the Muskogee Ruffers, Rafe Watkins. And Coach, each and every week on our program, we bring in another member of this year's squad. And the guy between us has been to the School of Hard Knocks, Eric Arnold, one of your linebackers. I know you're glad to have him back on the field this week for Sapulpa.
Well, we are. He's a corner for us. And Eric, I tell you, he shows what perseverance and hard work will do for you. He came in as a sophomore, played some JV ball, didn't get to play. And I'm not sure, did you play junior high ball, Eric, all the way through?
Just 8th grade. So.
8th grade. So he didn't have a lot of experience, but he got into our off-season programs, our summer pride. He works hard. He could always run a little bit, but he got stronger, and he just kept on going. And then finally, we won him a starting position at corner this year. They found him early, and he knew he had a lot to still learn. People was trying to get to him. He got his first interception then against Bartlesville. Then unfortunately against Bixby, he gets a concussion and missed the next 2 ball games, but was able to last week get him to where he could practice again. He'll be starting for us this Friday night for his last night on Indian Bowl Field and get after it. We're proud to have him back.
Coach, I saw him shake his head. Eric, has it kind of sunk in that this Friday night is the last chance for you to play at Creek Nation Field Indian Bowl?
Yes, sir. It's just, I ain't played much football. It's just, just all the people I get all the people I've grown up with. It's just this right here. It just feels like it's more than just the teams. I feel like family.
It's just family.
It is a family type environment, and you can kind of see that relationship with all the guys, and they don't mind cutting into each other every once in a while too.
Oh, no.
And this guy can spread the love. I promise you.
He can dish it out pretty good too. He's an old Summit kid. He's part of our team. He was on my sales team this year, and we got through it and won it, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
And now, let's talk about the classroom now. And Coach was talking about your grades and going into your final senior semester. You're right now you're sitting with a 4.0 grade average for this semester.
Yes,
How
sir.
hard is that to maintain focus when you're trying to spend as much time as you can studying film and playing football?
Well, actually, it's really I try my best in class because at home is really where I try to watch as much film as I can because the Wi-Fi situation.
Exactly.
So I try to focus in class and do as much work as I can.
Okay. Now you were talking to me about after high school. I mean, obviously you'd like to maybe play some ball somewhere, but let's talk about what your long-range aspirations are. And you were saying getting into business. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I've got like some electrical traits from growing up with my my family. Like we work on cars and like remodeling houses, and I've just been around it, and they kind of taught me some stuff. So I kind of would like to go into business. I was talking to Coach Blassingame about some like this morning actually about some of the stuff I wanted to do, and he said it would more likely be for going to business.
Okay, all right. So a
business
business career and taking care of your business out there at the cornerback spot. How hard has that been though for you the last 2 weeks to stand over on the sidelines and have somebody take your helmet away and watch while the other guys are out there playing the game?
Oh yeah, it was really hard. I remember during the what game was it? Booker T. During practice, I was trying my best to get out there. So it seemed like every day they were trying to get me to stay in the training room. I wanted to go out there.
He was. Katie had to fight him quite often. She had to look at. We both had to watch for him because seriously, that was just a week after he had dinged up, and we look out there and he's already got his helmet on, didn't have shoulder pads or anything. And we said, you can't even put your helmet on. So Eric, he always wants to be out there working.
And then of course when Speedy took that kickoff return to the sideline, I don't know who was the most excited person around, whether it was me, whether it was our TV crew, whether it was Coach Watkins or Coach Staley who was running down the sideline chasing Speedy. But I'm sure you were jumping up and down for joy as well.
Oh yeah, I just knew like he was going slow for me. I was like, man, I know he sees something, and whenever he sped up, I was just thinking touchdown all the way. That's all.
Now, at corner, what are you always watching when you go out there and match up on that one-on-one receiver?
Ooh, I try so hard to keep him from going inside. Like I've gotten a little better at it, but we've gone to like a little bit more of an off-man technique, so it'll probably be a little bit more easier for me.
Well, certainly we'll be looking for big things this Friday night, Coach. They got one of those good receivers, and he's going to have his best game on his last game at Indian Bowl.
They do have a couple of good receivers, and he'll be matched up with them. And there's no doubt Eric will do a great job, and I'm proud of the effort that he's put out. Like I said, he is a program kid, and I couldn't be more happy for him and the effort he's given us for 4 years and the things he's reaping from it now.
Number 19 on the program, number 1 in the hearts of his fans, Eric Arnold, our guest here in this segment. Coach and I will come back and talk about this week's opponent, Sapulpa, following this time out on TV 15. Welcome back on TV 15. Bill Huddleston with head coach Rafe Watkins. And Coach, this is the final home game of the season. And I know for a coaching staff, this is kind of a special night as it is for the 26 seniors that'll be walking onto Muskogee Creek Nation Field Indian Bowl on Friday night when the Ruffers play Sapulpa, because it is the final home game. It is senior night, and for you, it's kind of a special group of seniors because this year's seniors are the kids you started with.
That's right. They were freshmen when I first got here. Good group of young men. They've had a lot of success. You know, they just lost the one game as freshmen. They come through and they've been a part of that team, and a lot of them was a huge part of the team last year that went to the semifinals. Good group of young men, and they've fought through a lot. We've had a lot of injuries this year, and they've kept persevering through it all, and really proud of a good group of them. And then we've already got 7 or 8 of them that's already got some offers out, anything from Division II to finally Big Mike got his first Division I offer yesterday from New Mexico State. So I'm really proud of all those kids and what they do. But they're a special group to me because, again, they've been with me the whole time.
Absolutely. Now, the Ruffers will have a important opponent because this is one of those games you can't take your eye off the prize. And Sapulpa, even though they're more than likely totally out of any playoff picture, they're the type of team that can upset the apple cart.
Right. Well, they are. They're out of the playoff deal because this is their last district game. Then they play next week. They play Broken Arrow. They have that was going to be their open week if they couldn't find anybody, but they got Broken Arrow. Lucky them. So better them than us. But it is Sapulpa. You know, you look at the record, and of course we play them all the way throughout. And last year they've got most of their kids back from last year's team. And you don't have to watch very much film to realize, and the first film that we watched was watching Booker T. They've got a couple of wide receivers, and then, of course, their quarterback's just a sophomore, but his name's Eli Williams, and his brother's the one that's playing. In fact, scored this week for Louisville down there, and they look about like Day Williams, and looks just about like him. He's 6'4", 210-pound sophomore at quarterback. He can make things happen. They have a couple of really nice wide receivers. Number 5, I believe his last name's Wilson, Daquan Wilson, and he's a very good football player. He got behind Booker T twice. They overthrew him, but if you can get behind Booker T's secondary, that lets me know you can run.
Absolutely.
And he also had a kickoff return back to about the 40-yard line. So they have a couple or 3 kids that can really cause us fits if we don't take care of business. They got a big offensive line. Defensively, they're going to, Coach Borstadt, he was the defensive coordinator at Sand Springs when they were really, really good with defense. And so they're going to be the same defense that Sand Springs ran 3-4, but they bring one of their middle linebackers almost every play. They've been very good against the run. Ended up Booker T didn't run against them. They ended up throwing like they did on us, going over the top with their speed. But they're just a team that you cannot underestimate because they do have enough playmakers that they can give you fits if you don't take care of business.
That'll be this Friday night. It'll be the final regular season game at home for the Ruffers. Kickoff time is set for 7 o'clock, but like we mentioned at the first of this segment, it is senior night, and with 26 seniors, all the pregame festivities are going to get started at 6:30. So you'll want to be in your seats at Muskogee Creek Nation Field when that all gets underway Friday night at 6:30. Ruffers kickoff against Sapulpa at 7. For head coach Rafe Watkins, I'm Bill Huddleston, and until we meet again, remember, it's always a great day to be a Ruffer.